try not to threaten them, like if you don't eat it, there's no ice cream.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Ask Me Doctor Season 3, a health video series for you and your family. I'm Syahira from Motherhood.com.my. The pandemic has cut kids off from friends, sports and routines, and even nutritious meals for some. With virtual learning and very few activities outside of home, it's no surprise that kids are moving less and snacking more. If your child has been eating more processed, high-calorie food and spends a lot of time on the screens, then you're not alone. However, proper nutrition is vital for every child. It helps to ensure healthy growth, strengthen their immune system, and it also helps to improve their cognitive development. While no foods or dietary supplements can prevent or cure the COVID-19 infection, healthy diets are very important for supporting immune system. So today we're honored to have Dr. Yi Ki, a pediatrician and early nutrition specialist from Baby and Beyond Child Specialist Clinic Publika and ABC Child Specialist Clinic Centerpoint, to share more on how we as parents can support our child with healthy eating habits while raising their immunity during this time of pandemic. Hi Dr. Yi Ki, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
My pleasure.
So as you know that today our topic is child nutrition and building immunity during the pandemic. I have a lot of questions for you. Shall we get started?
Sure.
All right. So my first question for you is, how do children's immune systems benefit from good nutrition during the pandemic?
That's a really good question, Syahira. Thank you for that question. You know, in early years, the children's immune system is actually not fully developed yet. So in usual circumstances, catching a mild viral fever, a cough or a cold once in a while is actually the body's natural way of building a more robust immune system portfolio so that the body is ready to fight repeated or new infections later on. However, our children now are facing a double whammy. You know, they are not only susceptible to COVID-19 infection, but because of the prolonged lockdown and physical isolations, their bodies are not exposed to like the common bugs, you know, that will build their immunity. So even more so now, healthy diet is paramount, right? To give them the required nutrition necessary to build a strong immune system. So Syahira, we do this by maintaining a balanced and diverse diet to help the immune system to function at its optimal level to fend off any health risk.
Right. Right. So you're saying that, of course, proper nutrition is essential for building a child's immune system, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So my next question for you is, what can we as parents do to encourage good eating habits at home? Let's say, for example, if we have limited access to certain types of food.
So there are some practical tips to help our child develop healthy mealtime habits. You know, providing good nutritious food in the house is what I think is really important. While many parents are understandably looking for ready meals and processed food as a quick and low-cost way of feeding our family, we still need to put a little bit of effort into it so that we feed our children like a very nutritious diet that will support their growth and development while building healthy eating habits at the same time. Now, a balanced diet follows like a general rule of, I bet you heard it before, suku-suku separo. Quarter portion of grains, cereals and rice, a quarter portion of proteins such as meat, fish, legumes, and half portion of fruits and vegetables, and that includes milk or other dairy products as well. So Syahira, I think like if we plan properly, it can still be a convenient and affordable while not compromising on their nutrition. And here are some ways which I think can help, right? So number one, have fresh produce as much as you can. Nowadays, even during a full lockdown, fresh produce is thankfully not scarce, right?
Yeah.
And you know, we can buy it from various ways, whether it's in-store, online, or through e-delivery. Meat, some fruits, non-leafy vegetables, they can actually be frozen and it will retain most of their nutrients and flavor. And then using fresh vegetables to cook large batches of soup, right? Stews or other dishes, it will make them last longer and probably for a few days or even a week. And these are the kind of foods that you can also freeze them and when possible, just reheat them.
Something like a meal prep, right?
Exactly. I like that. So, you know, if there really is some difficulty in getting fresh produce, there are options like getting dried foods. So they're not completely like a loss, right? We can get things like dried beans, pulses, grains such as lentils, split peas, rice, couscous, quinoa. I love those things, and even some canned goods like beans and chickpeas. Oily fish such as sardines, tunas and mackerel, well, they can still be used, right? In sandwiches, salads or pasta dishes, or you can cook them as part of a warm meal, and they can be acceptable alternatives.
And it's going to make a huge difference for your child, right?
Exactly, you know. And so the next thing is like, I think we should really limit highly processed foods. Of course, this goes without saying. So we try to avoid like sugary drinks and instead drink lots of water. And if it's too plain, we can consider adding fruits, vegetables like lemon, lime, cucumber slices or berries to the water. And that's a great way to add an extra twist of flavor. Asian favorite, homemade barley drink. You cannot go wrong with that in Malaysia. Right?
So my next question for you is, how do I deal with picky eaters? For example, like I have a nephew at home who's 8 years old, but he's very picky. He only eats certain foods like chicken and French fries. Anything other, he's not keen to like trying anything new. So how can I, as a parent or a role model, help deal with picky eaters?
Everything that we talked about, like in the points before, I feel those are also good points in building good eating habits, and they're good strategies to deal with picky eaters as well, right? But additionally, I think we can also look at it from two ways. The first way would be that we got to tackle the nutritional part itself. Now, there are various reasons for picky eaters, but most typically, developing children who don't have any oral processing disorders or problems are most likely to still be exploring the types of food that they like and don't like. And sometimes, or maybe many times, their food choices will be lacking in important nutrients such as proteins, vitamin D, calciums, and zinc. So these can actually have like a negative impact on their immune function as well as their health. So if you're not going to be eating whole food as it is, we will have to be a little creative about it. Some ideas to help incorporate these nutrients into their daily food would be like, number one, maybe cook and present them differently. For example, oily fish are rich in vitamin D and omega-3, like salmon and trout. But some children don't like the fishy smell from it, so we can try cooking them as nuggets or cutlets and offer to them as finger food instead. Let them dip in their favorite ketchup sauce or mayonnaise if you have to. Right? Next thing, like for example, natural yogurt is a great source of calcium, but also not very tasty to some children. You know, they rather have the ones with all the flavored berries and strawberries in it, you know. But instead of getting those pre-made ones, try adding fruits, real fruits, and making it into a smoothie or ice cream. For children older than 2 years old, a little natural honey goes a long way. Now, we can also explore different animal-based as well as plant-based proteins. For example, like your nephew who only likes chicken, but what we can say is that there are various sources of proteins, and we just try each and every one and see what he likes. Turn up the taste with natural and flavorful condiments like turmeric, ginger, garlic, thyme, rosemary, basil, and lime. You know, and like previously said, and you've also mentioned it as well, we offer new foods along with the familiar foods, and with familiar foods taking a bigger ratio when we start off with. The other thing, a concept that I like to introduce is the concept of chaining. So this is a concept that can work with some children, and this starts with something they like and then slowly morph it into something you want them to eat a little bit more.
So it's like a gradual transition into trying something new, right?
Absolutely, So for example, like sweet potatoes have got so much more nutrients than just normal potatoes. And if your child loves commercialized potato chips, you can start by making homemade potato chips from real potatoes with an air fryer, right? Everyone has an air fryer right now at home. And then from there you can morph it to become sweet potato chips. And then if they take to it, then you can grill the sweet potato and keep more of its nutrients in it.
That's a cool way of transitioning, sort of like from chips to getting them used to the flavor, and then from there transitioning into them having the actual food itself, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's nice.
So secondly, I think we should also manage their mealtime environment, which is equally important. And this includes us maintaining a neutral attitude. That's really important because we tend to get worked up so fast when our children don't want to eat what we present to them. You know, some like praise when your child feeds himself independently, or when he tries something new, can be a good motivator. But don't force, and try not to threaten them, like if you don't eat it, there's no ice cream. Let's not try to bribe them that way, you know, and don't run after them as well. Many parents spend 1.5 hours to 2 hours just running after their children to eat. That doesn't work for the child. Limit meal durations, usually to maximum 20 to 30 minutes. And you know what? If they don't finish their food by then, keep the food away. Don't blame them, don't scold them, but always maintaining a neutral attitude. Be a responsive feeder. We set the boundaries during the meal times, but we still got to look out for the child's cues. The parent decides what and when to feed, but we can allow your child to decide how much to eat within reason, of course.
So those are a lot of good guidelines that you've provided with us. I really like that, how we should not force our children into, you know, we shouldn't stress ourselves about it, nor should we stress them into eating, because ultimately it's just going to cause overall stress and negativity between you and your child, right? So it should be like a natural, smooth process. And you should enjoy it, your child should enjoy it, and you should enjoy it, and it should be like a bonding moment between the two of you, isn't it?
It is.
All right, so I'm going to move on to my next question. My next question for you is, my child tells me that she's hungry all the time. What should I do? You
know, it can be easy for snacking to get out of hand when you're home all the day, you know, just like you said. And grazing throughout the day can interfere with your family's nutritional goals. And disorganized eating patterns can also make kids feel a little bit out of control, and they don't know it, but they don't want that to happen. So, you know, what we can do is we can have a consistent schedule of meals and snack times, and we stick by it, parents. It may be helpful for family eating schedules to be written or hanged in like the kitchen, so that everyone kind of knows when the next meal or snack will be, especially our grandparents. For younger children, it can be helpful to have, you know, signs that indicates whether the kitchen is open or it's closed. You know, and if your child asks for a snack before the scheduled meal or the scheduled snack time, remind them that, you know, that the next time will be at this time to eat as a family.
Right, so they have something to look forward to, right?
Exactly.
So when your child comes to you and like, I'm hungry, oh, well, it's okay, you can wait, because, you know, our meal time is at 4 o'clock, let's say. So at least they have something to look forward to as well. And they can stick to that schedule.
Exactly. And you know, as parents, I think, like, especially for younger children who don't know the concept of time yet, we need to fill in that kind of emptiness with something else, maybe with an activity that we can do together, so that they don't feel like the waiting time is too long, right? Yeah, but sometimes we can relent a little, we can give in a little bit, between scheduled meals and snacks. You know, we can let kids choose between fruits and vegetables if they're really hungry and they feel that they cannot wait any longer for the next meal time, right? So I feel that structured eating should also include scheduled family treats. This helps reinforce to kids that all foods are okay to eat sometimes, and that they should not feel shame about eating sweets, chips, or even ice cream. Shame around eating treats can lead to unhealthy food behaviors like hiding or hoarding food next time. So guys, structure is key. This includes maintaining structure around sleep, helping your child keep a consistent bedtime and wake time routine each day can go a long way in supporting other healthy habits as well, which of course includes healthy eating habits.
Okay, so my next question for you is, now there's a lot of e-learning going around with the pandemic and all that. So are there any types or certain types of foods that is good for the brain?
All right. So, without thinking too much, a well-balanced diet with enough macronutrients and micronutrients, everything that we've talked about, is good for health and a child's development as a whole. However, there are certain food groups that are associated with supporting brain development and function. They are also what we call brain protectors. Good portions of proteins from grains, legumes, eggs, poultry, and meat are important as it is the building block of the body's cellular function, growth, and immunity. And then things like green leafy vegetables. Oh, kids hate them, but they need it, such as kale, spinach, and broccoli. They are rich in vitamin K, lutein, and folate. We've mentioned before, oily fish like salmon and trout, they are good sources of protein and omega-3 fatty acids. So foods like avocados and nuts, they also have healthy fats. Walnuts especially have been found to improve memory. More walnuts for you and I, Mahira.
Yes, please.
And also assortment of berries, they have tons and tons of antioxidants, rich flavonoids, and they can also be easily a child's favorite because they're so bright in colors and they have natural sweetness as well.
Well, that was all very informative, and I definitely learned a lot. What I'm hearing is that we should be more creative in terms of choosing our food groups. I think that now with technology on the rise, we are very lucky and blessed because whenever we want to look up for any sort of recipes, we can just go on Google and everything is there. And like you said, food is not scarce. Here in Malaysia, we're very lucky because anywhere we go outside, we have the option of buying fresh fruits,
yes,
buying all sorts of food and at an affordable price. Thank you so much for for teaching me and teaching all the parents out there on how we can improve better nutrition for our children. And a special thanks to our sponsor AIA Malaysia for sponsoring this episode of Ask Me Doctor. As parents, I'm sure that access to good healthcare and etiquette protection are among our top priorities. AIA's new Total Health solution supports families to live well with AIA Vitality and protect well with comprehensive plans designed to protect your child from pregnancy to birth and beyond. Unlock additional healthcare benefits for your child when you make healthy choices for your life. Visit AIA.com.my/anakkuhebat to explore exciting activities, offers, and more. We hope you enjoyed today's program. For more informative videos on you and your family's health, stay tuned to Ask Me Doctor. Thank you so much for watching and see you again soon. I'm Syahira Khan.
And I'm Dr. Iki.
And this is Motherhood.com.my. Bye!
Bye!